Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be talking about Virgo archetypes, and I'm going to be using examples of Virgo Sun, people with Virgo Moon, and Virgo Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is one person that comes to mind that strongly embodies Virgo energy is former NBA superstar Kobe Bryant. Now, he likely has the sun in Virgo depending on time, and even if he doesn't, he would be on the cusp of Virgo. I do believe his sun sign is in Virgo in all likelihood, though. But anyway, I see him as someone who's very analytical, someone that was probably likely very proficient in analyzing defenses when he played, and even offenses when he was on defense, when he was playing defense in the NBA. Now, interestingly enough, he currently, at the time of this video, he has a show that's entitled Detail, in which he breaks down and dissects various things from NBA footage. And of course, I mean, if any sign epitomizes attention to detail, it certainly is Virgo. Virgo is known to be exceptionally punctilious and meticulous with details. What I find interesting in his chart as well is that he has Mercury retrograde in Leo, so it's not surprised he's reviewing things by dissecting plays that are sports related. And the thing about the thing I wanted to get at, another example person that comes to mind that strongly at the time perhaps exemplified Virgo characteristics, though this was a progressed ascendant in Virgo, was a woman that was very prominent in my life some time ago. And I mean, she was became everything but a compulsive complainer. Now, could be Virgo energy, really in a very negative manifestation. And I mean, she became everything but a very incessant complainer, and she was actually asking her parents when they would come into the house from outside to spray their shoes like with bug spray, like virtually every time they would come in. And I mean, she has a Cancer ascendant. I'm thinking even Cancer in negative manifestation, negatively expressed, might have neurotic tendencies, but I think this could have been attributed to her progressed ascendant being in Virgo as well. And whenever I would when she got herself a new car, I would go into her front passenger seat, and she would be complaining that I'd be getting in the vehicle too forcefully, and I need to take it easy on the seat when I would go into the vehicle. So anyway, another person that I think is really almost like a quintessential Virgo personality is former Major League Baseball player, and I guess would be former talk show host Tim McCarver. He may still, I think the Tim McCarver show is not on anymore as far as current episodes, but you have to check on that. But I think he would be considered former talk show host. But anyway, Tim McCarver may very well be emblematic of the sign Virgo. He has a Virgo ascendant, and I mean, the thing about it was when he was doing, best to my knowledge, when he was doing some telecasts, I should say, perhaps in New York, when he was an announcer for the New York Mets, I believe people with the Mets organization might have gotten critical of him, maybe being somewhat overly judgmental and critical, perhaps, of the Mets. And I think what it is, a lot of times the organizations want the announcers to really not focus on anything disparaging or negative. They want you to accentuate the positive. But Tim McCarver, having a Virgo ascendant, he could be, have that time when he could be critical, though others may see this as simply him being objective. But the thing about it is, he, when he speaks, obviously very eloquent, very verbose, but maybe at times some people might even see him as overwordy, perhaps even pedantic. And I can remember there was one time, and some of you baseball fans out there may remember this, when Major League Baseball player Deion Sanders threw a glass, I guess it was water, in McCarver's face. And Tim McCarver did not physically retaliate, but he spoke his piece. He said something like, "You're a real man, Dion, a real man," and basically walked away, at least figuratively, from the situation. And the thing about it is, I think this epitomizes Virgo energy, because Virgo people generally will not engage in brutish or combative behavior. They're often very scrupulous, and they're often very, averse to getting into like some physical confrontation. They think they'd be lowering themselves perhaps to the other person's level, and that's just something, Virgos generally will be often averse to. And I've known a number of people that Virgo prominent in their charts, and those people being prominent in my life, that they didn't seem, very few of them seem like they like to engage in any kind of like physical battle with people, unless they had something a contraindicator in their charts or something. So anyway, and another, I've talked previously, of course, about how actors and actresses often, at least I believe, can be drawn on a conscious and sometimes even subconscious level, perhaps to roles that correspond with their astrological energies. Now, I think the actor John Hillerman, who played Higgins on Magnum PI, certainly no exception, who has a Virgo moon. He has it at 29 degrees, which, I see as the full culmination of the energy. Now, on the show, he struck me as someone who was playing a character that was very fastidious, maybe even persnickety, and I could see him having things very neat and organized. And the thing about it is, Virgo energy can be like that. He really, in real life, he might really be like that to some degree. And the thing about Virgo is a sign, of course, that could be very meticulous and really very scrupulous in terms of cleanliness and having things very neat and organized, as they could often be averse or have an anathema, if you will, to things that are disheveled. Now, another thing is that when I look at this, another person I think that really very emblematic of Virgo energy was a former friend, a Sun, Moon, Ascendant in Virgo that I knew. And I can remember one time he was over my house, and he was eating. He was over for, I don't know if it was lunch or dinner. And he started, he ate, what he did was he ate all of the vegetables, all the carrots prior to the rest of the meal. And I'd asked him one time, why did you eat, inquire with him, why did you eat all the carrots before the rest of the meal? And he said, well, maybe I just liked them better. In other words, liked them better than the meat and potatoes or whatever else was there. Thing about it is, this kind of can really show very strong Virgo energy, because, see, Virgos, what they'll do is they, when they say something a lot of times that might be derogatory, it's not always in a complete, direct manner. It can be subtle. Sometimes they could be known for their caustic wit as well. I think sarcasm can strongly be connected with Virgo, not as biting as Scorpio, but still, their sarcasm can be rather hurtful. And because remember that Virgo energy can, again, be very judgmental and very critical. And they could really know what to say, how to criticize somebody where it could really hit home. Now, the thing about, too, is another example, I think, that a person that exemplifies Virgo energy I see as a very strong Virgo archetype, if you will. I had another personal note. I had a friend that worked with me at a retail store one time. And the thing about it is, Virgos will often, I think, go above and beyond the call of duty when there's something work-related, because Virgo can be the sign of the workaholic. They can often be very industrious and hardworking, perhaps more so than any of the other zodiac signs on average. It is the sign associated with work because they correspond with the 6th house in astrology, of course, that governs work and employment. So anyway, I can remember one moment when something was holding, I guess it was a pallet jack, and I was walking with maybe a couple other people, and we were in what happened was we weren't really sure what was going on, but What the Virgo rising friend did was he actually got, he got right down on his hands and knees and went right under where the paddle jack was and tried to see, if there was a pebble or something that was actually under, what was actually stopping this thing, the paddle jack, from moving or whatever it was. And the thing about it is, the example being stated, because Virgos, again, they could go above and beyond, and they really the call of duty, and they will really give you that extra mile often when there's something work related, when other people might be stagnant and not really want to go that extra mile. They're often the ones that will do so. Now, anyway, another thing too is that when going to some celebrities again, interestingly enough, Dr. Drew Pinsky and Dr. Phil McGraw, both very, you could say, renowned, doctors, if you will. They are, both have the sun in Virgo, and Virgo, of course, is the sign associated with health-related matters, and both of them have water ascendants, so perhaps intuition sometimes flavor their analysis. But I do see them as being very typical of their sun signs. Now, Pinsky has a Cancer ascendant, and of course this could flavor that, the Virgo analysis with more sympathy. And Dr. Phil McGraw has a Pisces ascendant, and I think because of that, it could flavor a lot of that Virgo energy with compassion and perhaps even self-sacrifice. The service that he might give others might be done with a little more emotion, feeling, that compassion, again, that self-sacrificing energy, and both may very well have that rescuing urge connected with it, because Cancer and Pisces, I think, can arguably be the two biggest rescuers of the zodiac. So anyway, but Pinsky is an addiction medicine specialist, board certified internist, according to Wikipedia.org, and really, and the thing about it too, Pinsky was in the inaugural season of Big Brother. He was referred to as a health and human relations expert, and of course, Virgo is the sign synonymous with health. So, and obviously, Virgo is often more proficient in health-related matters than any of the other zodiac signs on average. They are just born to do things that are related to health, whether it's actually tied in their profession or not. Now, going back to celebrities, again, being that, at least that actors and actresses, again, often being drawn to roles that may correspond with their astrological energies, whether on a conscious or subconscious level. The late actor Peter Falk, who played Columbo, certainly no exception, a sun in Virgo. And I can remember one episode where he basically deduced the crime. He solved it by basically stating it came down to him hearing a chime in a background on someone's phone call, on a call someone made, and hearing the chime in the background, whether it was a 12 noon chime or whatever it might have been, and that helped him basically determine who was the culprit in a certain crime. And the point being, Virgo energy is often very detailed oriented energy. They often will spot things and pick things out and then other people may simply be oblivious to. And the thing about it is too, a couple athletes come to mind that I think strongly embody Virgo-like energy, and I see them as Virgo archetypes. Now, two prolific running backs, former running backs, Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams, both have Virgo rising. And the thing about it is, being running backs, I'm sure they had more exceptional ability, more so than the average running back, even to dissect and analyze the defenses and to be able to spot those openings, those holes, so to speak, in the defenses that they can run, because Virgos, of course, could be very analytical and see those spots, openings that others might simply overlook. And another thing too comes to mind, and another person, another Virgo rising friend that basically I considered him. It was I can remember in the Rising Sign book by Gene Avery. She had stated something about Virgo rising being a walking medicine chest, or I don't know if those were the exact words, but at least something comparable to that. And I had told him about this, and when I was in the car with him, I'm in the passenger seat and he's driving. Right after I said that, practically, he opened up some compartment in his vehicle and he had all these health-related and first aid items just come pouring out. I mean, it was just so funny. I mean, it's amazing how accurate astrology can be, and that's one astrological moment. Of course, I mean, that will be very memorable, and it'll stick with me, I believe, like an indelible fixture for a very long time. And I mean, he obviously was somebody that really strongly embodied Virgo energy, and he had that occasional judgmental and critical streak, of course, about him as well. But I'm sure he was someone that also was very punctual, timely, and reliable. So anyway, and another thing that comes to mind, a couple people that I think I would say are very strong Virgo archetypes are legendary NBA coaches Phil Jackson and Red Auerbach, who are both Sun and Virgos. And I would say, I mean, I don't know Red Auerbach's ascendant because I couldn't find, a chart online with his actual time of birth. But it's interesting because Phil Jackson has an Aquarius ascendant, so I'm sure, like, say, for example, like in practices, that Phil Jackson would instill a strong work ethic in the players and have them practice vigorously, but it was flavored with unorthodox energy, perhaps because Aquarius is ascending. And if I remember correctly, he had players, like in practice, that would actually do layups without the basketball in their hand. So, but given, I mean, his reputation and, and the fact that he was such, the coach and of who he was and somebody of great renown, I guess you could say, people probably did not question it, no matter how bizarre or unorthodox, though, the practices may have been, or things they would do in practice would be. So, anyway, well, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Virgo archetypes. Stay tuned next time where I will be talking about Libra archetypes. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.